What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All the Mods Expert Mode. Oh yeah, guys, so I've been doing some stuff off camera here. Yeah, I've been putting a little bit of time trying to get some things taken care of that need to be taken care of. So one of those things was I got rid of all of our immersive engineering wiring that we had going to all these different machines. I have replaced it all with our Ender IO energy conduit. So yeah, we have that going down from our battery here underground. It runs to the bottom side of these machines. It runs over to all of our empower things, the display stands, and over to our Rockhounding machines. It also splits off and comes over here to all of these different immersive engineering machines like so. Yep. So these are all getting power, and they're getting a lot more power than they used to, since we are kind of limited to the amount of power that we could give them with the LV cables. Also, I think we're getting a little bit of power loss because those can only transfer power so far before it starts losing out on RF. So anyway, this is a whole lot better. Also, I went to our desert temple that we saw before when we went to the desert way down here. You can kind of see how I just made a straight line all the way over here to the desert. I didn't know where the temple was. I assumed it was like over here or something. It turns out it was right there where I put the new mark when I went back there. So I went back to the desert temple here and I collected all of the capacitors that you find in the dungeon loot, right? I kind of went around the desert a little bit while I was down there seeing if there was another one. I couldn't find another desert temple, so we only have the one here. And I was kind of exploring around these different savannas, looking to see if there's another connected desert. It doesn't look like there was. I did find a village here, and I think that's about all I did. Some of this other is from previous exploration. Yeah, there's another village right here, looks like, as well. So that's kind of cool. A couple villages nearby the desert if we ever go back there again. But anyway, while I was there, I grabbed these capacitors, like I said, so we have a few of them, and I was looking online to figure out what the different ones are. So this is an enhanced crush enhanced capacitor. The crushed means that it works great for the sag mill, right? So that's why we have that in the sag mill. This one says it is a premium hungry, premium smelting. Smelting means alloy smelter, wonder capacitor. So anyway, it's a very good smelting one. This one is a decent sag mill one. So we got those all together in there. I couldn't find one that worked specifically for our slice and splice. We didn't have one. We didn't have one for the soul binder, but we have some generic ones that we could probably put in there to speed those processes up. But most of the time, even with the default, they don't go very slow, so there's not a lot of reason to do that. Maybe the soul binder, but anyway. So yeah, I went to the desert. We got those capacitors. We fixed all these lines. I started upgrading some of our tools a little bit. Our sword here, I put a Night Slime tool rod on there, and then I changed the blade from the Demon Steel to Manulin. Manulin is slightly more attack, and then the Night Slime gave us a little bit more durability. So this sword, does it say how much durability it has on there? I don't remember. It's like 1,000 durability now, up from like 100. Yeah, it's a lot better than what it was. Our shovel here, the excavator, I put Night Slime on there as well. I put a copper large plate on there, and I did the Manulin tough binding. I think the Manulin was kind of a waste because I didn't really give us much durability, only 50. But I was trying to find different parts besides just stone for those. Yep. So those have been upgraded as well, so that's pretty cool. What else have I done around here? I smelted a lot of our ores, and I put them away. Yeah, I think last episode I had this set up over here as some kind of a cheap automation, where we had items going into a chest and that was going into our macerator. I was like, you know what? Hold on a second. We don't need to do that with all of our ores. There's only certain ones that we need to put through the macerator, and it's usually just the Rockhounding ones. So I took all the other ores that we had out of there, put it through the sag mill and our alloy smelter to finish up the smelting process. It's a lot faster that way. Anyway, oh, here's another thing. Yeah, I added in more of our 1K ME storage cells. We made this the 1K storage components, but we didn't have enough of the stuff to make the storage cells out of them. So it made 10 more of the housings, put the components in there, and now we've doubled our storage. So that's pretty awesome. So I've been trying to think of what we need to do to move forward, to progress, to get things going here. And I was thinking, since we have power generation here, right, our 2 water wheels, we have power generation over there, our 1 water wheel, and we even have another water wheel that I had forgotten about over by our wheat farm over here. Yeah, we have yet another water wheel underground under this guy right here. powering this whole operation. So we're just collecting wheat, we're collecting seeds, and we are making some of the biofuel, right? So that was going to this biogenerator, which we decided was not going to be a great idea to do. So yeah, I forgot about this water wheel down here. But anyway, we got 4 different water wheels, and none of them are, well, I guess all of them are kind of just wasting their power, because all of them aren't really storing their power anywhere except for this one. And it's just got a little bit of storage. So I was thinking we should take all of our power generations, put them together into one large storage, and then, like, you know, wirelessly transfer our power around like we do. So I was looking, and a dimensional transceiver seems to be the best option for this. And it is not very expensive looking, right? So we need an ender resonator, which is slice and splice. We have all of this stuff, and then we need some electrical steel, which, you know, is just the standard recipe for that. That's not bad. Fuse quartz, ender crystal, we've seen these. Emerald with some vibrant alloy, and then a soul vial with an enderman. That's not bad at all. And then the octadic capacitor, and wait a second, this requires lutecrite. Okay, so lutecrite, in order to make the octadic capacitor, requires us to have another star, blocks of emeralds, plutonium, which means we need extreme reactors. Yeah, so the plutonium requires cyanide dust and tiny pile of plutonium. Okay, so cyanide means we already have to have yellorite processed through our big reactor, and then we get the cyanide as the byproduct. This tiny pile of plutonium, the only way to get this is from doing IC2 thermal centrifuge, the reactor, all this kind of stuff. So we need to get into the nuclear reactors for IC2. All of that for a dimensional transceiver. All right, so we need to start getting our IC2 stuff up to snuff, right? So IC2 is going to be needed in order for us to start moving power around wirelessly. I was also looking, so ways to collect resources automatically, right? So obviously we have the digital miner. So the digital miner, this is going to require a processor from RF Tools. I'm not sure. Advanced miner from IC2. This is going to be a lot of micro crafting to get all of this stuff done. There's a lot of things happening here. Just for that one thing. We're also going to need Draconic Evolution. Yeah, we need to make Awakened Draconium for that. So this one's kind of far away from us right now. Don't think we're going to really be able to do that. So I was thinking the other ways that we could do that. We have the builder block from RF Tools, and this is rather inexpensive for what this is. This does require Rockhounding alloy, which we can make in the metal alloyer. I think we have all of this stuff to make that, so that's not a big deal. It does require 2 machine frames, so machine bases and the circuits, machine bases. Yeah, I mean, it requires some stuff, but it's not terrible. So then we're also gonna need a quarry card. If we do the builder, we're gonna need a quarry card to put in there, right? So we got all these different types. We need the shape card quarry as our base version, then we can upgrade it to these other ones. So the shape card does require draconic cores, which requires draconium. And in order to make draconium ingots in this mod pack, we need 2 draconium dust plus all this stuff in the metal alloyer to make 1 ingot, or we need tier 5 blood altar. So yeah, that's kind of crazy. Not only that, but we're going to need to kill a bunch of wither bosses for these nether stars. Yeah, so we need 4 draconic cores, and then each one of these wyvern cores require an additional 4. So we need 12 draconic cores, 12 nether stars, 13, 14 nether stars, because each one of these wyvern cores require an additional 1. Yeah, so that's not really something we're going to be doing. I was also looking other ways to collect resources would be bees, and we could do bees in Gendustry. There's actually not a lot of bees in this. If we look at this, that's not a whole lot of different crazy amounts of bee breeding to do. Like, we don't have to do every single one of these, but like, we can make yellorite, we can make, oh, I don't know, cobalt if we wanted to, wither. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here that would be good for us to do. So I was looking at Gendustry. Gendustry would make bee breeding super simple, right? So we need the mutatron for that. And in order to make this mutatron, where we put 1 bee in, another bee in, and then it says, okay, make the offspring. Yeah, that's what this guy does. In order to make this, we're going to need MOX nuclear fuel, which means more plutonium, which means more IC2 nuclear stuff. So IC2 nuclear seems to be where we need to go right now in this mod pack. That'll help us out making the EU power that we need, and it'll help us get the plutonium that we need, which when also we have the plutonium and we have the nuclear stuff set up, we can start looking at using the mass fabricator, right? This guy right here, the mass fabricator, this will start making UU matter, and then we can start using the replicator to start duplicating certain things that we want that is able to be duplicated. So there's a lot of this stuff that we're gonna have to do. So yeah, all of the IC2 stuff requires a lot of micro crafting, right? So we've seen that before in the past. So if we want to do a thermal centrifuge, for instance, which we have to put our spent fuel rods through, yeah, we have to do like all of these things, all these coils, like cables, tin casings, like the advanced machine casings requires all of this stuff. And yeah, it's just a lot of stuff. I kind of feel like what we need to do at this point in time in the mod pack, before we jump into that, before we can jump into other things, is start upgrading our applied energistics so we can start doing auto crafting. I feel like that is going to be the best thing that we can do to progress through here. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot of tedious manual crafting. I don't really want to do that. So I think that's where we're going to have to go in order to really make progress through this mod pack. So we go to applied energistics here. We need to get ourselves, 1K crafting storage to start will probably work. So we'll have to make crafting units. None of these are like super crazy expensive. They do require processors and stuff, and we can upgrade these crafting units later. Similar to how we can upgrade these storage cells. Like this one's empty, so we can shift right click it, take the housing and the cell apart, right? So we can do that with the crafting units as well to upgrade those later. So we can start off with the lower tier ones and then work our way up as we progress. So that's pretty awesome. So we'll want these things, and we'll also need, I guess, interfaces and these molecular assemblers, more processors and all these kinds of things. So in preparation for doing that, I went ahead and I made a bunch of acceleration cards. Those weren't super expensive, thankfully. Some diamonds, redstone, iron to make 2 advanced cards, and you take those and put it with FluX, and then you get the acceleration. So none of those were like super expensive. But yeah, there's a lot of like things that we're gonna have to get figured out. We're gonna want to automate all the applied energistics stuff so we can expand out and auto craft more stuff for auto crafting. Yeah, so I think today is gonna end up being an applied energistics day. All right, guys. So if we're gonna be working on applied energistics, we really need more room to work. Since we haven't figured out what we're gonna do up top just yet, we haven't started building anything, we haven't torn anything down, I figured it'd just be easier to come down here to our branch mine, which we already have something dug out, make it a little bit bigger and make it work for us for now. Applied energistics stuff really takes up a lot of space, and it's not something you need to look at. We don't have to have it on display, but anyway, I want to have a place for it, and since, yeah, our controller's right here, I figured we'd start digging this out. So this was what our branch mine was before. It's up in here, right? So the 3 tall from me doing my hammer. I decided to dig up as far as we could dig with the hammer, which got us to this point right here. And then I was looking at the water wheels. And I was like, you know what? This is probably going to be the ceiling, the highest point we want to go. I was like, the water wheels are still too high. We need to bring those down. So we should bring the whole floor down 1 block. And then I'm going to want a block to put the floor. So this will be the level of the floor. But yeah, I went ahead and removed 2 more blocks from below. One so we could bring the whole room down 1 block, and then another one we're gonna have to replace those with another block. So I went ahead and I made myself an eye chisel. The eye chisel, if you haven't seen that before, works just like a chisel. You can click a block, select a block, and then turn it to a type. What's great about the eye chisel versus the regular chisel, where you put the block here and you can see the different types, the eye chisel allows you to see what those block types look like, and if they have connected textures, what they look like in a connected texture. So you can click and drag and kind of see what it looks like. You can choose between a panel, having it hollow in the center, all these different variants. So like panel is probably the most useful one, because ones that have connected textures, and kind of see what it looks like. I guess with the hollow, that'd be kind of cool too, so you can see what that looks like. But anyway, the panel is probably one of the coolest features of this thing, so you can see what these blocks look like if they were placed in the real world. So I think we're going to go with these, the embossed cobblestone. Cobblestone is still the #1 block that we have, so that's what we're going to use. Just something besides plain stone look. It'll give it a nice little border around, and the texture isn't so bad. All right, so I think that's what we're going to do. So let's click those. Oh, the iChisel also has another feature. Let me grab more of my cobblestone that's all got sucked into these bags back here. Grab some of this, and we got triple compressed, double compressed. Oh, that's a lot of compressed. All right, so you know what? We should probably go take those upstairs, put them in put a lot of the stuff that's in my inventory away from me just digging. Let's put all this stuff away, and put all these away, this, that, and the bones. Okay, so let's grab a bunch of cobblestone. Yep, something like that should be fine. I'll place this single one back just so we're not taking up that extra inventory slot. Okay, so the iChisel, you right click on it, you select the block. You see how it highlights everything, so you can click this one. I think what do? You click chisel? Yeah, just keep clicking the button and it'll just chisel all of the blocks to that type, which is pretty awesome. So that's very, very quick. Now, another thing that I want to do, now that we got all these blocks chiseled, we're going to want to place them down quicker. So I was looking at the different wands that we have for that. I was hoping we had the builder's wands in here, and we got the one from Extra Utilities too, which is fine. That does require the magical _wood for us to do that. So we're going to need some bookshelves and some gold ingots plus XP each. I don't remember if we had extra books. We don't. I think we had an extra house over here that had the bookshelf similar to the one that we're living in right now. I'd rather disassemble that house than the one that we are currently living in because I don't want to have to look at those empty spots. Yeah, this one right here, this should be just fine. I'll just go ahead and break that. Break 2 of those. We'll have to remake those bookshelves, but we got the 6 books that we need for the 2 bookshelves, so that should work just the way I want it to. All right, let's get inside here. Nice. Okay, so we need planks, and we have plenty of planks. All right, so we'll make 2 bookshelves like so. We're gonna need gold. We got 233 of it, so that's pretty good. And I got a lot of XP from all the mining that I've been doing recently. Let's store all that away. We'll grab 4, and we will do this and this. There's 1 magical _wood. We'll grab 4 more. And there is the second one. Cool. All right, so we got that. So to finish that up, the builder's wand does require 1 more gold ingot. So let's grab 1 more, and then we'll make this thing real quick. There's that guy, those, and our builder's wand. Nice. Okay, so the builder's wand is, I think you click on something that's already there and it'll place up to 9 blocks of that type. So we have 9 of those. I'm not sure if it is 9. It might be more now. Let me try extending this out a little bit more and see what happens. Okay, so we go to there, which that looks like about 9, right? All right, so we can do 9 at a time. That's easier and a lot faster, 9 times faster than placing all these blocks by hand. Now I gotta go around and remove all these torches that I placed down to stop monsters from spawning. And then we can just go ahead and spam this out like so. Yep, that'll be quite quick to get this whole job done. And then we'll actually have a floor that looks decent. I'll have to go back through. Let me turn on. Oh, I guess night vision is on. Doesn't really look like it's on. It feels like it's pretty dark. I'll have to go back through and bring our water wheels down 1 block and then replace the blocks underneath it with our flooring here. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and get our floor laid out and then put the torches down just so we don't get monsters spawning. And then we'll be right back, guys. All right, guys. So I rearranged our ME controller. So I moved it from way over there down here. And then I removed all of the energy conduit that ran along here. Replace that all with the Fluix cable. Yeah. That way we have easier access to our controller. We can hook up our auto crafting and things like that. Just a little bit easier, I do believe. So yeah, our power is now running off that capacitor down here and into the back of this guy, which I don't know if this is going to be our permanent location for this. There's still a lot of things I'm trying to figure out on what we're going to do with this room, but for right now, this is what we got. Okay, so I made some things off camera here. I made 5 ME interfaces, a couple of crafting units, some 1K storage components, 4 molecular assemblers, some extra ME glass cable, and then I made an ME pattern terminal and an ME interface terminal. Those will most likely go upstairs. For right now, let's go ahead and get these things hooked up in just kind of a junky way. This won't be the permanent location, but we need to get things hooked up regardless. So we need crafting storages. These are what is going to allow us to do auto crafting. Each one of these counts as a processor. So having 2 of those will allow us to craft 2 different things at once. Now these are only 1K crafting storages, so we can't do like crazy big crafts, but it'll allow us to do some easier crafts anyway. So then we also need some ME interfaces here, and then these we can just hook up something like that, which will be fine. And then molecular assemblers right next to those. So the interfaces will push the items into the molecular assemblers. The assemblers will craft it and then push it back in the interface, and then that completes our whole crafting thing. But yeah, we need these crafting storages over here in order for any of that stuff to work. Okay, so now that we got all of that hooked up, we can take a look at the pattern terminal and the interface terminal. Yeah, so those guys need to come up here somewhere, and I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do with all these things. I don't think the advanced inscriber and the crystal growth chamber, I don't think either of those use channels, so we don't have to have them up here. We don't use them that much anyway. Let's go ahead and just get rid of them. Can I do that? Okay, I wasn't sure if that was going to break too many things or just the one thing. Okay, so that should be just fine. So pattern terminal, we can stick right there. And then this is the interface terminal, put right there. I guess for right now, I'll rearrange these things once we get it figured out. I might even do cables right like this and put that terminal on here, kind of a thing. I don't know. We'll figure that out as we go. But for right now, let's try and get some auto crafting hooked up, just the basic stuff. So the pattern terminal, this is going to allow us to write a different recipe to a blank pattern. But in order for us to do that, we need blank patterns. So let's go ahead and make a blank pattern. Ooh, those use quartz glass. Oh man, this is going to get really expensive. This is going to be more expensive than I was thinking this was going to be, especially since we don't have any quartz glass. Now, if you guys remember, quartz glass is made by smoky quartz, blaze quartz, red quartz, Certus quartz, dust, sunny quartz, and sandy glass. All of those have to be put through the metal alloyer in order for us to do anything. Now, I made some of those earlier, but I only made enough to make these 10 storage cells. Okay. So we're going to need some more quartz going on here. Let me go ahead and grab 10 of those. We will put those through our coke oven, I think is what it's called. What is this thing called? Yeah, coke oven over here. So those will cook up. Those will turn into the smoky quartz. Then we need to make ourselves the red quartz, the sunny quartz, and etc., etc. So blaze quartz, we made 1. We need 9 more of those. We need the red quartz. We should be able to do that pretty easily. Okay, so there's that. And then Certus quartz. All right, so we are gonna need the Certus quartz crystals and put those through the sag mill. All right, and then finally we need 10 more quartz to put through the laser. Oh man, we're gonna need more of the nether quartz for sure. All right, so blaze rods we need so we can, I'm not sure how many of those we need. We need the blaze rod so we can make the red quartz or the orange quartz, the blaze quartz, that's what it's called. All right, so let's come over here real quick. We will sag mill those. I think that, yeah, we can get a little bit extra, I think, because it uses flint. Is that right? Maybe it's using flint to give us the extra chance of the sulfur dust. Not 100% sure on that. That should be enough. Okay, yeah, that'll be enough. Well, no, we're going to be short, I think, 8 more, but I'll take care of that here in a second. Okay, and then the other thing was we needed to crush down our Certus quartz crystal. Yeah, this machine runs pretty quick now that we have the correct capacitor in there, so I like that a lot. All right, so now we can come back over here. And we We don't want that. We want it with the blaze. Yeah, we're gonna need just a little bit more blaze stuff. I think we need one more than that. All right, so we'll have that all done. We get rid of this, and then, oh yeah, we need to put these through our lasers. I was kind of curious to see how much faster this will go now that we switched over. We switched over to the energy conduit, and we're now attached to multiple sides of this capacitor, and we have multiple sides touching our atomic reconstructor here. I don't know if this is going to go much faster than what I was doing before, but let's just check that out. Yeah, that's refilling the power quite quickly, so that's nice. So then you can just sit here and spam the button a few times. That, oh yeah, it's still working on that quartz over there, even though it's kind of like not in line with the thing. Anyway, let me go ahead and finish this up, and I'll put those through our metal alloy over here, and then we will continue on, guys. All right, guys, so we got the quartz glass all made up, and we got everything together to make our first blink pattern. Nice. So we can take our blink pattern. Is it this one? No, it's this one. Yeah, we can take our blink pattern, put it down here, and then we can copy this recipe onto here and encode it. Now, we have an option here for OR dictionary substitutions. This prevents it. This allows it. I'm going to go with preventing for right now, since I'm probably going to want to use the pure Certus quartz. We'll take the time to make the extra stuff for this. Eventually, later on, we might want to turn this on, so I'll use the pure until we're done with that, and then I'll just use the regular stuff. But right now, those resources are not unlimited, so I want to try and use the most out of these. So anyway, let's go ahead and encode this. So our first pattern that we made is a pattern to make patterns. So we can come over here to our molecular assembler, drop that right in there, and that'll go down into one of our interfaces down here that we set up earlier. Yeah, so that terminal shows us all these different interfaces. Okay, it looks like the one we put it in was this one right here. And these other three have nothing in them. Great. Right, so now that we have that pattern in there, and we have the molecular assemblers, and we have the crafting units, everything should just be able to auto-craft as long as we have the resources. So if you type in blank pattern, this shows that we can craft it. Let's tell the system to make 5. We could make 5 if we had pure Certus quartz crystal, which apparently we do not. So to make pure Certus quartz, we need Certus dust, right? And then we need sand. We'll eventually get this set up to be done automatically. For right now, we'll just manually craft these things. Now, I also have the crystal growth chamber in my inventory. Like I said, I don't think this takes up a channel, so we can stick this pretty much anywhere in the network. We just need to give it the AE power. So we'll go ahead and stick that there. I did put acceleration cards in this machine, so this will craft these quite quickly. And there we go. There's our pure Certus, and then here's also our advanced inscriber that has the acceleration cards in there as well. Okay, so now that we got that done, we can put the pure Certus quartz crystals back in there. Say blink pattern, craft up 5 of those. And everything looks fine. So we tell it to start, and it'll start crafting those at a decent speed. It's not really fast, but you know what? It's still auto crafting, which is awesome. So now that we got those, we can stick those right back in here and then start selecting other things to auto craft. So as we saw, this does require a lot of nether quartz for all these different things. It requires a decent amount of sand. We have to take sand, smelt into glass, and then smash that glass, preferably with Fortune 3 to get these glass shards, and then wrap those around more sand to make the sandy glass. So yes, making all this stuff does require a lot of resources, and it takes time for this to get crafted up. So getting a bunch of quartz is something that I'm very interested in doing. So to get another quartz, this is a thing we should probably look at. Nether quartz, so we can smelt the ore to get 1. We can crush the ore to get 3. Is there anything else? So if we put it through, this one's disabled, we can't do that. We put it through this one to get 3, the actually additions crusher. Not sure if we need to do that or not. Yeah, quartz bees, these will make nether quartz. That's something that we'll probably eventually want to have set up so we can automatically just collect quartz all the time. Nether quartz ore put through an enrichment chamber gives us 6 nether quartz. That's really good. That is really, really good. Is there anything else here that I might not have seen so far? We have transmutation through the transmutator from Abyssal Craft, but that's just turning a block of quartz into the nether quartz itself. So it's not really doing anything fantastic. Mana infusion. So if we have a decent amount of mana and a conjuration catalyst from Botania, we can drop the nether quartz in the mana pool to get more nether quartz. So maybe eventually if we get like a blaze farm set up or something and we're just making unlimited blaze rods, which we can make unlimited mana with, this would be a good way to do it. For right now, that's not very helpful, I don't think. And then sag milling it. Yeah, okay. So it looks like the best thing that we can do right now is putting nether quartz ore through the enrichment chamber to get 6 nether quartz. It looks like that's 100% recipe. So I guess that means what we should do is look at making ourselves a silk touch hammer, go to the nether, silk touch all the nether quartz, and then throw those ores through our enrichment chamber that we have over here. Yeah, this guy right here. We can also start looking at getting some upgrades in here too to make this thing go faster, because I think right now this machine goes kind of slow. Yeah, these are things we're gonna have to start working on. So I guess getting that silk touch hammer is probably the next thing we're gonna have to work on, but we'll look at doing that next time. Yep, we've run out of time for this episode, unfortunately. I've taken a bunch of time here, done some things off camera, tried to get a bunch of resources, and yet it still feels like we're not really doing much per episode. But I guess we have a floor and we have a place for our plate energistics now, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I guess we'll just continue working on this, expanding this out, figuring out how we're going to lay this out. And then obviously we need to clean up the walls. I don't like there's a creeper over there. I'm gonna have to fix that. We'll have to clean up the walls and all of this kind of stuff. But yep, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to leave a like on the episode if you liked it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.